Hello, I'm Mark and welcome to Little Known Stocks, the show where I try to prove that being boring and doing your research will make you money. Now, today I want to talk about Bigg Digital assets, and anyone who's been in the stock recently will know that there's been a lot of pain, falling from a high of $3.76 down to $1.11 just yesterday. But the stock's up about 20% today, slightly higher earlier on in the day. So what's driving it, and what should we do with that information? Well, before I address that, I just want to say I made a video on Bigg Digital assets going deep into the stock on the 6th of May. You can find it, I'll link it just above. But one of my main concerns was the lack of an app. And the day after, I don't know whether it's a coincidence or whether they saw the video, Netcoins posted this teaser pic of their new app coming soon. So assuaged one of my major concerns, and really happy to see that. And one of the things I really like about this company is they are so communicative. Thank you to Laura for pointing out the tweet, by the way, and thank you to Jamie, who emailed Mark Binns, the CEO, and he confirmed that they're expecting to release the app in June. So thank you, Mark, for replying as well. I think that's a really great thing when you can email the CEO of a company and he takes the time to respond. And certainly this press release is proof that they're listening to the investors and they're giving feedback, which is excellent. Now, onto the actual press release itself. Now, I just want to say this is more than I could have hoped for in an earnings call in this press release. There's a huge amount of information here, some of which is hidden and some of which is in plain sight. So let's go through it very slowly and just break down exactly what the highlights of this are. So if we skip down a section, blah-de-blah-de-blah, right. The last 18 months have been absolutely formative for Netcoins. The business is healthier and stronger than it has ever been, profitable, and perfectly positioned for next stage of growth. The company has grown from a small team of 8 people to just under 30 amazing individuals. This company is only 30 people strong, and some of the sales we've seen, they must be hugely profitable, or they will be in the future. So that's the first thing that I really wanted to highlight, and that is probably the biggest piece of news for me there. When will we see more crypto assets coins on Netcoins? So they do have a limited range, and they essentially say they're working through regulator approval process. So we knew that, and one of the major things that has led people to be so pessimistic recently is that they've been waiting on this regulator approval. Now, this is one of the things that Netcoins says will differentiate them from all the other Canadian competition. They're aiming to be the only regulator-approved crypto exchange, and therefore, when things become more regulated, they'll be at the forefront and they'll be really beating the competition. So they say they'll add more coins once that's approved. Now, we already knew this, but the wider investor base probably didn't. Netcoin apps is currently slated to be released in June 2021, so that's a major thing for both Android and iOS. So that's major. Thank you, Jamie. We already knew that. So when will your restricted dealer license be approved? Now, they go on to say they don't have any actual control over the approval timing, but significant progress has been made towards the finalization of the license in the past 2 weeks. The application was submitted in September 2020, and novel regulatory products take significant time to come to market. We are hopeful that the license will be granted in May or June latest. So really good piece of news there, very close from the sounds of it. Now, here we go. How is Netcoins performing in May so far? While we are only 10 days into May, Netcoins revenue is tracking to set another monthly record. For the first 10 days of May, revenue shows a 35% jump over April. New customer acquisition has also grown by 2.2%, 122%, in May over April, while setting all-time records. So absolutely massive growth again, and that was one of the concerns that I also had in my previous video. So one of my other concerns that I had in my last video was the revenue growth and whether it could be sustained. So we saw massive growth in February, a dip in March, and then growth again in April, and I wondered whether that could be sustained. Now, it's not proof that this is going to be continuing, But I did 3 models, one assuming no growth, giving them a price to sales ratio of 23, one assuming 15% growth, and that would give them price to sales ratio of 6, and one with 30% growth, and that would give them a price to sales ratio of just over 2. And if this is sustained, then really we are in for a great year. So in terms of Bigg's cash, Canadian dollars 70 to 75 million, so decent given their market cap. They also say that their overall business, so I think that means, reading into overall business, I think that means Netcoins is probably very profitable, but the blockchain intelligence group, the other half of their business, probably isn't yet. So I think that's why they've expressed overall business. Operates profitably on a monthly basis. So monthly basis, they're probably saying they're just breaking into the profit region, not counting realized or unrealized coin gains. And that's really important because we know that they hold around 300 Bitcoin, and they will have to report that on their profit and loss sheet, but it will appear as other losses in a separate line. So it may appear like quite a big number if the price of Bitcoin continues to drop, but it's there or thereabouts, and we don't necessarily have to worry about that in terms of their balance sheet. So that there's quite a lot in that paragraph, but it's all good stuff. Now, when is the fiscal 2020 audit going to be completed, and why is there a delay? And this was one of the things that was really concerning people. There was the fiscal audit that was due to be published. They were due to do reporting, and it's been delayed by a long time now, and people were getting really nervous as to why this was happening. So they did announce in their last earnings report, and if you listen to it carefully, they mentioned that it was because they were growing too quickly. But they explain it a bit more here. It's basically they're being audited, and the number of transactions that they have is so significant that they're struggling to keep up, and the number of samples that they need to take in order to have a successful audit is much bigger than they anticipated. And the other thing is that they expect to complete the audit by the end of May, so we will get a delayed report. It seems like the auditors are maybe not experienced in the crypto market. There's obviously very fast moving and potentially millions and millions of financial transactions, so it sounds like they have to maybe do 1% or something like that of all transactions, and it seems like a very difficult thing to do. So they mention elsewhere in the report that they think they're the only Canadian exchange that's a public company, so this problem will be unique to them. It is the Canadian Public Accountability Board that are doing the audit, so this problem will be unique to them, which gives me a lot of faith that there's nothing dodgy going on. It's just a big job to do that reporting. So this one's really interesting. I'd never heard anything about this before, so obviously they're driving the question, they're thinking about it. They are keen to list on the NASDAQ, so that's really impressive and giving you a vision as to, again, the company's very forward thinking. They're not, they're very new company, but they're thinking about what can we do to grow our value in the future, and listing on the NASDAQ would certainly give them a kind of fisheye lens on the stock. So that would really boost them. But they do need to meet all sorts of financial reporting. The audits definitely won't help with that, and they will need to up their game in terms of probably the level of reporting that they're doing at the moment. So that was it. Really tremendous, and if anyone skipped over this, please don't. Now on to what I did today. So I, at the beginning of the day, saw the price. It was $1.11, and I just couldn't resist. I added 130% to my position in the morning before this notice came out. But with that said, I think I might still buy more given the new information. The new information has made me more bullish than ever, and we are still at a very, very cheap point. So I'm really happy with today. Obviously the price has gone up, but that's a temporary thing. But the new information we've got on the company, the growth, the aspirations, it's all really good stuff, and I can't wait to see what they do next. That's all from me. I hope you found this useful. If you're a Bigg Digital Assets shareholder, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think and what you're doing after this announcement. But that's all. Have a good day.